Welcome all to Avalanche's FF7 playthrough. We're now in the final part of the Junon segment of the playthrough, in which we've been found in Junon by the guards, we've changed into our uniform, and now what we're going to do is we're going to send off President Rufus and climb onto the cargo ship to cross to the new continent.
Okay, so after we've done our drill practice, we were able to just have a bit of a browse really before we get on the ship. There's not much we can do in the shops, but you can have a quick browse, buy some new items. At the moment, because I've done a bit of training, I've actually got 19,000 gil. So I'm actually able to spend it. If we go down here, it'll be a shortcut, but we don't need to anymore, so you can just click on all the shops and have a look. So if we go into this shop, sales are pretty bad today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some money on buying some things. So seal is a new type of materia, which we don't have yet, so I'm going to buy a copy of that. There's also revive materia, so I'm going to buy a copy of that. That's all I need from here. I've got all the other materials. I might not be able to use these materials yet, but I'm going to buy a copy of them. Also, when browsing these stores, make sure you have a good look around, because there's a lot of free items available, like hidden around, and some of these items are quite good. So if you go in here, there's a weird type of shop. It's a weapon shop. Now, this is where you can actually get a lot of the items for the first time. So the hard edge, which we've got, the grand glove, which we've got, the atomic scissors, the striking staff, the diamond pin for Red 13, I'm not going to bother buying it because I'm not going to use Red 13 for a while, and then a boomerang. So, if you have a look, 5 of those items we've obtained for free by stealing. So we stole striking staff in Midgar, the grand glove we got just recently from the Madouge, the atomic scissors we got just outside Midgar, the boomerang we got just outside Junon, and then the hard edge we also got from Midgar soldiers. So there's nothing we can really get in here. If you go down a floor, you'll go into a bar. And who would you see in the bar? But there is Reno. Sorry, Rude even. Take your mask off and come over and sit down. Unfortunately, if you do take off your mask, I think he'd find out who you were. There's nothing you can do here, just have a quick chat to a few people. They're too smashed to bother doing anything. So yeah, not a lot happening really. So there's a couple of the shops, we've bought a couple more items. We can equip all the items later on when we get onto the boat. So there's another person here. There's an item shop. So potions and high potions, got loads of those. I'll buy. Let's buy another 5 Phoenix Downs. We could do some more echo screens, another tranquilizer, and a few tents. So now we're quite low on cash, but I'm going to sell a few potions that we won't use, 1 ether, and a couple of high potions. So now I've got a bit more cash. I could sell other items as well, but I don't want to because I don't need to really. So no concern about that. Just before I continue as well, just going to let you know that we aren't actually in a party at the moment. We will get put into a party later on when we get onto the ship. So don't worry about that. So we'll have a look in this shop next. This shop's got 3 floors. Now if you have a look in here, those sort of things to have a look around for. If you go down here, there's a know-it-all, and it's sort of like a little Shinra party club if you like. It's got a nice, cool little theme tune. Now, if you go in here, you find an enemy skill material, which is the second enemy skill material. And light is on limit techniques. Now, essentially, here you can learn more about limit breaks. What you need to learn about limit breaks, in a nutshell, is this. You have 2 limit breaks per level, apart from 2 of the characters. To get the first limit break, i.e. the new limit break, on level 2, you need to have killed a certain number of enemies. To get the second limit break, such as Cross Slash, you need to have used the first limit break several number of times. So Barret will actually learn his second limit break in level 2 very soon, possibly before Cloud even learns his first one. Absorb all the wisdom. So basically, if you chat to a few of these guys, it's a bit like the beginner's hall when we were in Sector 7. It's called the Respectable Inn though. But essentially it's the same thing as the beginner's hall. So you can learn new information. I'm not going to go through all of the information there for you, so I'll let you work that out. And now we're going to go up to the next floor. Now, there's a little soldier there, 135 soldier. Just go into the menu quickly. It's a Shinra Armour Attack Soldier, 12 in the set. This is one of these items in the game which is an Easter egg. It's a pointless item and it has no use. There's a little sort of challenge to see if you can find all 12. I'm not going to do it because I personally think there's a lot better things to do, and some of them are really well hidden. They're all available in Junon now. You may as well have found a few sources. So this guy's not going to parade, he wants to learn how to be a first class soldier. I've picked up like 4 or 5 sources now. So I'm going to use them all on Cloud. So here we go, there is a mind source which raises your spirit, luck, strength and vitality. So that just raises his stats a little bit. So if we have a look at his stats now, those 4 stats will have gone up by 1. Obviously you've got 6 statistics, you can raise those statistics as high as you want. The maximum for all of them is 255. So the higher they are, the better. When you level up, they will grow very slightly, or not grow at all. But by the time you get to level 99, which is the maximum level, you won't have got maximum statistics, so you have to find sources to get them higher. There are many ways you can find sources in the game. You can't buy them though, so you have to find them or collect them in special techniques. And that's all for this place. That's all for the first sort of the first area. Now, if you go along here, there's nothing you can do there, so we'll just go straight round. Now, if you go down here, it's quite a funny thing. There's a button on the side. Now, we can't press this button yet, but what it would do is it would allow us to summon enemies here as a training exercise, because often there's training people here. If you speak to this chap here, the elevator's out of order for an inspection. And below us is a submarine dock and the underwater Mako reactor. That's really important information. We're going to use that information much later on in the game. Final Fantasy has a habit of giving you information much earlier than you need it, because then you can't say, oh, I've not heard the information, because you have heard the information. So you will use that information much later on. I'm not going to say when to try and keep it spoiler free. So we go in here, there's a bar, and we have Elena, Reno, next to Elena, and then Seng at the far. The president is safe because they're here, they're looking after the president. And it's just a little bar, Shinra members bar. There are a couple more shops to visit before we continue. One of them actually sells accessories, and you won't have found a shop yet that does. If you go in here, there's a little bedroom, nothing much to look at here. Speak to the chap, he says, you can have a nap for 30 gil. We don't need to though. And if you speak to this girl here, she'll let you in. Buy a lot, cutie. There's lots of stores in Junon. The guy's worried that the girls don't want to use. So we've got another material shop here. Fire, ice, lightning, earth and poison. We've obviously got a copy of earth and poison equipped. I don't personally want any more because we're struggling to equip all the materia as it is. If we go into here, we get a shop that sells you accessories, and the guy wants to be downstairs speaking to the girls. So we've got an accessory that protects against darkness and an accessory that protects against sleep. Now, I'm not personally going to buy either of these because we've already got some accessories that protect against poison. Those are slightly more useful. And we've also picked up another accessory just down here at the bottom, the power wrist, which adds 10 to your strength of the stick. It always makes you a lot stronger. So there's only a couple more places to look in. There's a luck source, sorry, a speed source just hidden here. And there's a soldier that's saying on duty. So why are you talking to him? Up here there's not a lot else. I'm going to show you most of these shops just to try and speed things up. Now this Shinra manager is the same chap that you met on the train when Barret had a fight with him. And if you have a look, there's another 135 soldier there. There's only 2 processes to collect these 135 soldiers. One of them is to say you collect them, the other one is to sell them to get some money, but you don't even get a lot of money from them. Now this weapon store here, we forgot to order. This weapon store is actually worse than the last weapon store, and it has the same weapons that you could get from Khan a long time ago. So I'm going to fade out now until we get to the end of the road.
Okay, so we've now arrived at the docks, ready to send off Rufus on the boat heading across the ocean from Junon. So what we need to do here is try and impress the President. Now, there'll be a score for this. Depending on the score, you get a different item, but unlike other things, we're not looking to get the highest score. If we get between 50 and 100 points, we'll actually get the best item. So what I'm looking to do here is get around about 60 points. Remembering that also, when I do the final move, that will get me an extra 30 points if I do it correctly. So I'm just watching how many points I get here.
finishing move will get me 30. So all I'm doing now is waiting until the final move comes. There we go. So I've got between 50 and 100 points, which gets me the second best item on offer, but it's actually the best item. If you get less than 50 points, you get an accessory, which basically makes you immune to sleep. It's something we're just being able to buy. But between 50 and 100 gets you a HP plus materia, which ups your HP by 10%. And you're not going to get a chance to get that for a while. The best item on offer is a weapon for Cloud with 3 slots with double growth, but you'll find a weapon for Cloud with 3 slots double growth, the exact same weapon, soon later. So this is the best item for us at the moment. Also, we're coming up against a really tough boss soon, which we'll need this materia for to help us. So essentially now what we're going to do is go onto the boat and see what happens there. Rufus knows that we're around Junon. He also knows that Sephiroth's already crossed the ocean, so we're looking to cross the ocean as well. And wanting us to stop the stupid laugh. You'll have also noticed just there was Red 13 just popping up a second ago behind the barrel there on the boat. So we already know that all of our team are already on the boat, hiding somewhere. Shipper don't want us to be on the boat. So we're going to get onto the boat now and then cross the ocean. So here we are, just starting out on the ocean crossing. And Cloud just said that they're going to be crossing even wearing the Shinra uniforms. Now, the passage of play now will take place on the boat. And what will happen is we'll get on the boat, and then something will happen. All you got to do is just play through that. There's no random encounters for the first part of this level while we're stuck on the cross-channel ferry. So we're just going to meet up with our party members, find out what's going on, and then proceed from there. But as always, in Final Fantasy VII, nothing goes to plan. So, first step, there's a nice treasure chest there with an ether. There's some materia there, but Yuffie's blocking it. Now, if I gave Yuffie that tranquilizer, it will up her love score for me. I wouldn't worry too much about it though. She'll move later on, we can get access to that materia. And obviously if Yuffie isn't in your party, you'll have access to the materia. And again, this just improves your relative love score. Now the first part of what we need to do, we need to get into that room there. But we can't get into it whilst everyone's here. So what we need to do is we need to go speak to Tifa, then Red, then come back down and speak to Aerith, and then she'll find out that Barret's missing. So if we go up here, we'll find that this is Tifa on the lookout. You won't be able to miss Red 13 considering that he's hopping about on 2 legs. If we just go down here, you'll see him in a second. There we go. Attempting to hop. Now the chap to our left here is in the way. Once he moves out of the way, we can then find Barret. Barret's just to the left there, near this sort of the cockpit of the boat. So we have to activate a message first from Aerith. Now once we've done that, Barret will then be out of the way. Sorry, not Barret will be out of the way. Barret will be able to be spoken to. The chap here now will be missing. And now we can speak to Barret. And there's Rufus and Heidegger in the cockpit of the boat. And Barret's getting really angry, knowing that Biggs, Wedge and Jessie are dead all because of Heidegger. I mean, even Rufus to a certain extent, if you think about it. Reports of a stowaway found, stowaway sighted, we've got to go find out. Obviously it's not these two because they're looking elsewhere. So maybe it's someone else. But it can't be someone else because we're all here. All 5 of us, and there's Yuffie. Oh, is the suspicious stowaway Sephiroth? I'm not quite sure why the person at the top there is staying there. So now we get to pick our party. So obviously, my main party is Barret, Yuffie and Cloud. Those are the 3 I want to play with. So they get changed, and we now go hunting for Sephiroth, and the other 3 remain hidden. If you ever want to change your party, because you don't have PHS, if you just go up to one of the members, it'll let you change your party. And the first thing I'm going to do is equip some new items. So I'm going to give Barret a power wrist that makes 2 more damage, and Yuffie I'm going to give a headband which stops her from going to sleep. And the reason why I've given Yuffie that is because Yuffie has the steal materia, and I want her to start stealing materia to get me items. I've also got to muck around a bit with my existing materia. If you have a look, there's quite a lot of materia I'm not equipped at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip Yuffie with a HP plus. I'm going to replace the sense materia. Now I want to make sure that the sense materia I've got equipped has the most AP. So I'll swap that for a HP plus. Then I'll look at Barret's sense, and Barret's has the most. So if you have a look now, we've actually got quite a lot of material we're not using at the moment. That's really commonplace. Obviously we've got 2 enemy skills as well. Now, because a stowaway's been found, when we go downstairs, you'll see there's been a lot of bloodshed and a lot of people being killed. So before we continue, the engine room is a suspicious character. It's not even a human. So before we do anything, let's go collect this ore materia, and then see if we can equip it somehow. So, Cloud has a lightning ore and elemental ice. I'm actually just going to rearrange that slightly, and I'm going to put the... No, I'm not going to rearrange that one, but I'm going to rearrange this one to give Yuffie... She's got a restore all spell. I want a poison all spell. And I can't find where the... There's the poison materia. So I'm going to give Yuffie a poison all. Now Cloud's got ice, lightning and fire. So I'm going to give him seal materia. So we're going to the engine room. Now, this now can actually end the playthrough for the ship. If we speak to this person there, who we can just see on the corner of the screen, that will end it. But there's a chance to get some clever items when we're in here. The first thing we've got to do is if we fight some of these people, Marines, and steal from them, we get the chance to get our new armour. So I'm going to kill one of them, and I'm going to steal off the other 2. Now the reason why I'm only going to be stealing 2 of these armours is because the armour isn't particularly good, but it gives me 4 slots, like the 4 slots material. It's called a Shinra Beta, and it has a double link slot and 2 single slots, so it's slightly better than the 4 slots material. It's also got slightly better statistics as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to defend with my characters. Hopefully try and get some material with Yuffie. I've only got 1 person with steel at the moment, because the other steel material is not equipped. So, hopefully we'll be able to get it soon. They're not usually that hard to steal actually, I've just had a bit of bad luck with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fade out until I obtain the first Shinra Beta. There we go, there's the first Shinra Beta. I killed the other enemy, so I've obtained 1 Shinra Beta. Just as a little heads up tip guys, if you're looking to steal from enemies, to make them weaker it's slightly easier to steal from them. Now I'm just going to quickly show you what the Shinra Beta does. I'm going to be fighting more enemies anyway, because I want to do a bit of training on the ship. But if I equip it to, say, Cloud, there you go, it has no defense percentage or magic defense, but it has slightly better defense, but it gives you an extra materia slot. That's all I care about at the moment. I'm going to give Cloud steel so I can get the second one a lot quicker. So Cloud has a Shinra Beta, Barret has 4 slots, and Yuffie has a carbon bangle. Now if I equip Yuffie with a Shinra Beta, that will still stay linked, so there's no concern there. So I'm just going to go around. I'll just leave this running for a sec because there's an item up here for Yuffie, a weapon for her. A wind slash, but there's also a chance to fight some other monsters up here which can cast powerful level 2 spells, so you've just got to be wary of that. Now the wind slash does give her double materia growth, but it does reduce one of the slots, so it's about offset as we usually said. So I am going to give her the wind slash, I think, but now that restore all won't work, so I'm going to get rid of that all materia. I'm going to move that. I'm going to give her a restore all, poison, and a HP plus. And then once she gets the Shinra Beta, I can then equip more materia. So then she's got restore all, poison, and a heal. So the only attacking spell she's got is poison. When I get the Shinra Beta, I can then give her a lightning or an ice materia. So I'm just going to wait up here for a couple more battles. If I fight the soldiers again, then I'll be able to steal from them. This is the other monsters on about who they can sort of cast magic against you. So you just got to be wary of these guys. Like I said, powerful level 2 spells that do over 100 damage. Because I've got lots of materia paired to all, I can attack them all quite easily. And if I cast the Choco Mog, it should kill them all now. Not only that, but because of the fighting I've been doing, I've got 2 players with full limit breaks and 1 who's almost on limit break. So I've done my limit building, ready for the next boss battle, which will be happening very soon. So I'm just going to heal up. I've got plenty of magic points. I'll probably need between 60 and 80 magic points for everyone for the fight that's going to be coming up. It's a really hard boss. It'll be one of the hardest ones we've faced. I'm just going to cast Choco Mog quickly because that ought to do quite a lot. Along with Bolt. Cloud as well obviously has a summon materia now as well, so I'm trying to balance out the MP drain on all the characters here. So if I don't encounter another set of enemies which can give me the Shinra Beta, I'll use Shiva with Cloud. My summon materia is sort of like my instant kill materia. It's a lot stronger than everything else. That's the drawback to it. They're really good, but you can only use them once. So just a bit more grinding here. It's like I said, it's the best placement for training. So once I encounter a Shinra Beta and get 1 more Shinra Beta, we'll enter our boss battle. Right, here we are. So we've got 3 enemies to face. So I'm going to start stealing straight away and see how quickly I can go on. I'm going to kill off a couple of them first just to make it a bit easier to finish the battle. Another reason, like I said earlier, for getting the accessory which stops you from getting put to sleep is, you know, for this reason alone. So with 2 people stealing, I should hopefully get lucky quite soon. That front enemy now is really hurt. So as soon as we get killed, I'll get Cloud to cast Shiva, and that'll then end the battle straight away. I'll just sense his HP, just to check. But I've got a feeling he'll be on about 50. Yeah, 66, so I can't attack him again, otherwise I'll accidentally kill him. So he's as low HP as he can possibly be. now we've got ourselves a Shinra Beta. I'll just get Cloud to cast Shiva, keeping all my limit breaks intact, and then we'll be able to get on with the boss battle. With the extra materia under the Protus commander here. So, are you Sephiroth? He turns around and then he falls over. So, we don't know yet if Sephiroth is truly alive, but he says after a long sleep the time has come. And that phrase, the time is now, 5 years ago, there's a lot of relations to the time of certain things. So, Sephiroth appears to be alive. Now, he's ran off and dropped something. And this is now a battle against Genova. So the first thing we're going to do before we do anything is get all our limit breaks off as quickly as possible. So we've managed to get off all 3 before Genova will be able to attack. And now once we've got those off, they can start recharging quickly. Now the strategy for this battle is quite straightforward. Once you've got your limit break sent off, whoever's your designated healer, make sure they're healing regularly. Genova will have about 100 MP, which she can cast stop 3 times. It might miss, it might not. She is carrying an item which you also can then try and steal off her. One of the first things I'd also advise you to do is cast Sense. Now, the best types of materia to use against her are your standard spells. If you've got any level 2 spells, please use them. On your game she'll have about 3,500 hit points, on mine she's got over 5,000. Now what I'm doing is I'm being very careful how I attack her, because I want to try and get the item, but I've managed to get it this early, so brilliant. Now she's immune to poison because, she's a biological creature, if you like, and you'll find that throughout the game because you will fight her various times. Now she has a few main attacks, as you can see. Standard attacks basically put you on, half-life. So Cloud's immediately down to virtually nothing. So I'm going to get the cure spell as quick as possible. She has 3 main attacks. She has a standard attack, which will attack one person she's just done there. She has, and then 2 types of laser. She has the tail laser, which is just kill Cloud. And she also has a W laser which explodes on someone, as well as the standard attacks. So you've got to be very careful and have one person constantly healing. So I'm actually going to have, I'm going to be required to heal a lot of times here, because this game's on a much harder difficulty than it will be for you. So the first step is obviously to get your limit breaks out as soon as you've got them, and then get as many of your summons out. So I've used all my limit breaks now. So I've just got the sun materials left to help me. Now don't be afraid to have 2 characters healing at any one time. So now I've got all the steals and everything, I can just pile on as much damage as I can. Quake, because it's a slightly stronger material, might do slightly more damage. It depends on the character's magic stat. And just as I've cast that, she's then cast stop on my character. So Cloud's only got 200 hit points down, but I'm healing him because I want to make sure he's on full life. And I've done just over half damage to Genova. Also, there's a little tactic I'm using here. Yuffie's next, but I'm not attacking with her. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting for Genova to attack, and once Genova attacks, then I will react with Cure. It's sort of like a little tactic that I do sometimes to get an extra attack in. So I wait until Genova attacks before I attack. And you can do that with characters. So on your healing character, try and do that more often. So now Genova's down to less than 2,000 life, and I've got 2 limit breaks coming up. Plus I've got 1 summon material there for a save. So now the idea is to try and get in as quickly as possible. Make sure as well, irrespective of which character your healer is, your healer's got to be in the back row when you fight this battle. Because Genova is a really tough battle, and if you have your healer in the back row, it means your healer takes less damage. Now the reason why that's important is because your healer isn't going to be a person who you're going to be attacking with regularly. Your main point about having your healer isn't to heal. So make sure you have a designated healer with restore materia who is constantly healing. As you've seen, all my characters started off with over 100 magic points, and they've all used them. Junova's now on less than 1,000 hit points. I opted not to use Yuffie's Limit Break yet because I want to heal Cloud first, and then I'll use it next turn. I mean, even then it possibly shouldn't, because you need to try and make sure everyone stays alive. Now I'm just going to do manual attacks with Cloud because he's got hardly any magic points left. And Junova's down to less than 500, so hopefully these two attacks ought to kill her. If they don't, I might have to do another attack with Cloud. Yeah, so Junova's on virtually no life now. So a bolt now hopefully will finish her off. And she's just stopped my healer. Not the best help for me, but luckily I've just got the kill on it. So, the key three things to remember in that battle, obviously it was a lot harder for me because I was fighting a much harder version. But the key three things are, have your healer in the back row with Cure Materia, ideally with Cure Materia and all. If you can have it with Cure Materia that's got an all that's level 2, that's brilliant. If you've only got one that's level 2, that's fine. Move it to the person who's got the Cure spell because there's only one monster you're fighting, so you can move it around. Like I had my Bolt spell paired with all, and that was the all that was level 2, because you ought to have one all materia that's level 2. Now, the key thing as well is when you're doing the battle, don't be afraid to wait a few seconds until after Junova's attack before you cast Cure, so it has that better effect. And we're just talking now about what Sephiroth was talking about. He's mumbling about time. Time is now. What the hell's going on? Now I'll click I'll try just to sort of go through it. So he's off searching for the Promised Land, and that's the reason why he sort of vanished 5 years ago. Now he's just come back and killed President Shinra, and now we just all saw Sephiroth. So obviously, everything that we've heard so far about Sephiroth is half true, half not true. It's like lots of untruths. So the reason why he's covering his mother Junova with him is sort of like a bodyguard, if you like. That's what we believe at the moment, anyway. As the story goes on, we'll learn more, and as the game progresses, you'll learn more. So you best hurry and hide somewhere. You now don't have anything else to do. Just before you go, quickly remember to pick up the new summon materia, Ifrit, which is your best summon now. And then you walk out. And that is the end of the boat trip. So, now we've got our third summon materia, and we've killed Junova. We should have, a lot better idea now of how the harder battles take place. They do take a bit longer. You might lose a character, you might have to revive a character. So make sure you've started to build up your party in that way that you've got a designated healer, and then you've got two other characters who are hitting.
Okay guys, and that's all for the Junon playthrough from Avalanche's Final Fantasy VII playthrough. We've completed, the crossing of the sea like we did, and we encountered Junova, one of the toughest bosses we've fought so far, if not the toughest. We're now docking at Costa del Sol, and we're going to have a bit of a relaxing time and a bit more exploring over the next part of our playthrough.